Yeah, so here we go. Namaste, everybody. Welcome to the channel again. It's been a long time, I agree. And today we are going to look at the insights that I have drawn from the movie uh, Awarapan that was released way back in 2007 and now in 2026. Awarapan 2 has been released, yesterday only on 14th of August 2026, and today is 15th of August, and I'm thinking to go and give it a watch because it is the weekend and I'm free. And I thought that since it is the sequel of 2007 released Awarapan, then let's give it a watch as well. So on the internet, I went there on the Google and typed Awarapan, and then there came a website that had this movie there, and I watched it at 1.5x, the playback speed, and it was fantastic. I personally do not like the movies which are like action movies, because I personally enjoy suspense more, drama more, or it could be historical, the comedy movie, sci-fi. But the genre that it apparently fell into, I am not a big fan of that genre actually. So I was little reluctant to watch, but then I started watching, and I thought that I'll finish it in 1 hour. It's a good hack for you, in case if you are undecided whether to watch it or not. Then you can increase the playback speed, and it will consume less of your time, less of your guilt in case if it turns out to be not so good, right? So the movie was amazing, mind blowing. Apparently, it looks like it is an action movie involving crime, violence, illegal, illicit acts, not only in India, covering the other territories like Hong Kong and US and whatnot. But gradually you realize that if you have the philosophical bent, then you'll realize that it involves a great deal of philosophy in this, more than the philosophy, the moral values, the importance of love in the life of a person. And more than that, I have given the gender, look I have looked it from the gender perspective, from the eyes of the gender or feminist perspective, particularly distinguishing between the emotions of the men and women. I know, like that dichotomy is too much that of a binary, but yeah, that is true. So I will be delving into that later. But what I was basically saying is that yeah, before starting, let me give you a quick overview of what the movie is like. So it features Imran Hashmi, and there is no nudity, no adult scenes, and not at all. Apparently it is all about action, and subtly it is all about the transformation of a heart of a person through the emotions such as love, compassion, empathy, right? And the movie and the director has amazingly portrayed it, right? So it features Imran Hashmi, and he's actually a sort of a person who works under a big businessman, or say mafia, right, in the overseas territory. So it just happens that the master, whose name is Malik, the master of Imran Hashmi, he says him to keep an eye on his mistress, a girl that he had, bought from somewhere maybe. And then Imran Hashmi says that okay, he'll keep an eye on the mistress of that master, whose name is Malik. Malik, who suspects, who is, I guess, Ashutosh Rana, who suspects that the mistress is having an affair with somebody. So it just so happens that he keeps an eye on her, and gradually, over the course of some time, he finds out that the girl is indeed in love with somebody else, and his name is Bilal, and he is from Pakistan. So is the girl from Pakistan, and the girl has been a victim of the trafficking, human trafficking. And then she, somehow landed into the mansion, or this house of Malik, and is now currently living as his mistress. But actually she loves who Bilal, right? So what happens is that the master orders his man, who is Imran Hashmi, that shoot her now. Like, you have got to know that she is betraying me. Shoot her. Now Imran Khan is unable to shoot that girl, and in turns, what dramatically happens is that Imran Hashmi, sorry, in case if I am calling it Khan, then pardon me. Then what happens is that the actor, the hero, ends up killing three of the partners, business partners of his master of Malik. One is Ranjan, another is Munna, and I think is eventually his master himself. Why? Why? Because what happens is that, now going to the flashback, Imran Hashmi, he was earlier an atheist, and then he fell in love with a girl who came from a different religion. uh, she was Muslim, and he fell in love with her, and they both developed gradually a good love story. But it just so happened that while they were making the love, after the girl was done, paying or offering the namaz to God, then they were caught by the parents and other village men of the girl. And what happens is that the father encounters this guy, the hero says that I am in love with your daughter, please let me marry her. And the father says that you are a bad man and I cannot allow this. Then what happens is that dramatically Imran takes his gun off and keeps it in the hand of the father of the girl, and says that I am abandoning, I am letting go of this life involving crime and all, and I am transforming, I am becoming a good man, now let me marry. And the father is he cannot do this, and I don't know what happens to the father. The father fires the shot, fires the gun, and Imran, he dodged himself, he dodged like that, and the bullet goes and hits whom the girl who Imran loved the most, the daughter of the very person who shot the bullet. And later, upon regretting, the father shot himself as well. And here, the Imran Hashmi lost his love, the love of life, whom he loved dearly. And what happened is that now this regret is gonna hurt him, give him the pain for forever. He cannot just forget this. Before that, the director is very brilliantly giving some intensely philosophical the conversation has revealed some great secrets about human nature. Not a secret, but the normal thing, like how should we be, we should be free, we should free the other beings as well, the kabutar, who we call I don't know, pigeon or what. So that is what the work of girl was. She used to have a cage, so many cage, and in the cages were these birds, and she used to charge the people 20 rupees to free each cage, free each bird from the cage. So and she said that if you do this, then the Khuda, God, will bless you, and so will come to fruition, your acts, deeds, your wishes will become true. So this is the concept of punya, which is like common between the Hinduism and between the Islam as well. And this was the first interaction and a wise conversation between the girl and the guy. And later on, like, Imran falls in love with this girl, but the love story didn't last long, and it left scars on the heart of Imran uh, Hashmi. And it just so happened that afterwards, as the movie progresses, now coming back to the master and his orders that kill the mistress because she was not truthful, honest to him. The Imran Hashmi is unable to do that. Why? Because he thought that my lover, she taught me, like, free the people, free yourself, free the animals. That's what she used to do for the living. And then they were also the free lovebirds, because they both came from the different religion, but yet they were together. But unfortunately, the life ended in not a good way. The girl ended, the girl actually got died. But she changed the perspective, the outlook with which Imran used to look at the world. Earlier, he used to follow the orders of the master, kill the people, do the violent acts, all the illicit acts. But now he started questioning that what is he doing is right or not. When the master calls him and tells him to kill this girl, he is simply unable to follow the orders, and in turns, uh, in turn give rise to the enmity or animosity, with the very master, who he used to obey a lot. So now what happens is that we see that how he actually tries his best. He gives himself a mission that now what I will do is that since my love story couldn't work well, but I learned a lesson that the lovers should be set free. Now I will try my best to what to actually make this love story of that girl whose name is Rima and his lover whose name is Bilal successful. And now he tries to free them both, fighting against all the odds, fighting against the men, of his master, and there were a lot of violence, bloodshed, gunshots and all. But ultimately he was successful. The ending scene wherein we can see the lovers going on the ship that was supposed to go to the Pakistan, or I don't know where. And then that was the scene of redemption. Like it was the scene of redemption. Like Imran, though his own love story didn't go well, but he lived up to the values, the moral lessons, the principles that his lover, that girl, taught him and changed his life. And that is the central message of the movie. It's not a prima facie it's prima facie about the violence, about the action, the heroic feats of the hero and all, but it mainly is about the transformation of the heart, the change of the heart, how the human emotions, sometimes make you question your deeds and make you change, right? So there are certain lessons or the observations that I have had from this movie, and I'm trying to put them in front of you. Uh, Particularly looking at it from the gender lenses, I think that men, since the evolution of the mankind or the society has been like this, that the men were the people who were endowed with the responsibility of arranging the resources, like getting the food from outside, killing the beast, the taming the animals, and then cutting the trees or the stones and the rocks, making the rock shelters. So they had this emotion of rationality in domination, as compared to the other emotions of like care, love, empathy, which are generally associated with women. In Indian and Bharatiya philosophy also, we associate these emotions such as karuna, daya, mamta, mamatva, all with the mother. She has these emotions in plenty, in galore, as compared to the men who have the emotion, who do not have these emotions, but is driven by mainly the rational forces. So like most of the men today, they are into the crimes, the criminal activities, be it the rape, be it the like robbery, or the tax evasion, or the rackets, involving drug trafficking, or human trafficking and whatnot. So women but have these good emotions, right, of love, care, empathy, sympathy, and all. So how women sometimes can leverage these emotions and change the heart of the man, and how men in love with such women can actually transform his own life, can actually transform his deeds, has been brilliantly portrayed in this movie. because see, nothing could change the acts or deeds of Imran Hashmi, the actor, and nothing could make him question his deeds. He had been following the orders of his master and killing people and giving way to all sort of illegal acts for years and years. But when the words came from the mouth of the person who he used to love, of course man would love women only, and when the words came from there, then the words actually triggered him, touched his heart, penetrated deep into his heart and his mind, that they started echoing loudly, reverberating in his mind when he saw injustice happening with Rima. And that was the reason precisely that not only did he not let her go, but he tried his best, even at the cost of his own life, to make her unite with her lover. And that was truly amazing. What a masterpiece, what a masterpiece it is. So one thing that I draw is that a good woman or a partner can actually become a mirror to a man. You must have seen